Cities are growing, becoming hotter and increasingly expensive to live in. As leaders gather in Singapore for the World City Summit, one of the biggest questions is whether cities are prepared for the future. Shin reports.
From Manila to Jakarta, London to Cape Town, city leaders are grappling with many of the same challenges: rising housing costs, growing pressure on infrastructure, and climate risks that are becoming harder to ignore. At the World City Summit here in Singapore, mayors, planners, and policymakers are gathering to discuss how cities can remain livable as populations grow and pressures mount. For the United Nations, one of the biggest concerns is that many cities are still planning for yesterday's realities rather than tomorrow's needs.
First of all, they are not planning for the future, right? So we have changes in demographics, in migration flows, the way people live, right, and share the space in cities, their preferences, and cities haven't been prepared for that. Have we really planned for the housing needs? Probably not, because now we are facing this global housing crisis.
UN Habitat estimates that more than 300 million people are homeless, while more than 1 billion live in informal settlements. For Rosbach, housing is not simply a social issue, it's one of the foundations of how cities grow.
We have to put housing at the center. Housing has been the key driver for urban expansion. For example, cities are growing through housing. If we get housing right, we are a step further in terms of having, city urban development that's kind of contained, sprawl that doesn't pressure the environment, the natural surroundings of our cities, that protect the boundaries that we need, the rural areas, cities that are better connected, better integrated, where people, can live and work within adequate levels of quality of life.
But while cities may share many of the same challenges, there's no single blueprint for solving them. That's one reason mayors, planners, and policymakers have gathered in Singapore to compare experiences and learn from one another. Among them is Nadia Verji, who oversees Expo City Dubai.
I think failure is inevitable for everybody, but I think the reason why we convene at forums like these is to listen, it's to learn, it's to exchange, it's to understand what best practice looks like elsewhere. And I don't think that that's replicable exactly, because every context is very different, but there's so much value in exchange and understanding the successes and the less successes in different contexts.
This year's summit marks its 10th edition under the theme Livable and Sustainable Cities Act Now. And over the next 3 days, leaders here will be searching for solutions they can take home and lessons they can avoid repeating. Shin, CNA, Singapore.